Welcome to Divisive Issues, the foul-mouthed, spoiler-filled comic book podcast where two fans and two non-fans talk about controversial and noteworthy comics. I'm Ryan.
I'm Sly.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Darryl. And it is...
Yes, it is.
A big event. It's our 100th episode.
Yeah, we're in syndication now, so TBS, very funny, characters welcome, whichever slogan it is. Talk to us.
So in honor of our 100th episode, we're doing a semi-annual kind of thing. Like, you know how we do annuals, we do ultimates? We're doing...
Was that a thing all the time? Is that what we're going to keep doing forever? Every time it's our anniversary, we do an ultimates?
Well, this next year's the last year doing it, because we're going to have... Yeah,
Thank God. I can finally end this podcast.
Yeah, that's it. No, because... so we had Ultimates 1, Ultimates 2. Done by Mark Millar. Mark Millar and Bendis, who did Civil War 2, really built up the Ultimate Universe. And then Marvel decided we're going, like, because basically what happened at this time was Ultimate sales started going down. At first they were really big because there was such a good entry point from the readers. But eventually, just like the regular comics, there became so many issues of Ultimates. It became less of an entryway and more of its own separate continuity that people had to learn. Mm-hmm. So Marvel wanted to basically kill it off. And to do the job, they hired a writer named Jeff Loeb.
Now, Jeff Loeb, I want to give a preface because he is a very controversial and difficult to discuss creator when we talk about comics. If you're like a newer comic fan or even just like more casual of a DC fan, you've probably read some of Jeff Loeb's like really beloved works like The Long Halloween, Dark Victory, Hush, Superman for All Seasons, even his Superman Batman run. Like he's written a lot of things that people really hold dear as like, this is where you start with DC. And unfortunately and tragically, his further on in his career, his son passed away from cancer, and he kind of had a hard time adjusting to that and writing superheroes.
Supposedly, his son co-wrote some of his works with him too. So
and his son was like young.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, you've seen, like, in his Superman Batman run, he has this, like, all these great artists and creators come in as, like, a tribute to him, and it's, like, really, really touching, and the whole story is very, very sad. But after that, Jeff Loeb, because he was still such a big name, Marvel kept giving the keys to, like, their big, successful franchises, and he started to, there's no real delicate way to put this, but he started doing like some real damage to their lasting franchises. Like Hulk, we've mentioned it casually, the story where he gets shot off into space and becomes like a ruler is like a high point and like a beloved part of the whole franchise. And right after that, they gave it to Jeff Loeb and he was like, what if Thunderbolt Ross was a super angry Red Hulk?
And what if he punched the Watcher and all the Avengers or something like that?
Yeah, what if he beat up the Silver Surfer? And like,
I'd watch him punch the Watcher.
and like the Ultimate Universe is one of the most jarring examples of they take this universe that like, yeah, we dumped on Ultimates 1 and 2 quite a lot, but like it's different when Jeff Loeb takes over. So we're gonna, as literary critics or whatever you want to call us, we're gonna try to judge the work on its own, and I don't want anybody to think that we're like making fun of Jeff Loeb for being like, for going through some really bad stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think it would also be disingenuous of us as a show to ignore the notoriety of bad Jeff Loeb. Yeah. Because if we're going to talk about controversial and noteworthy comics, you can't not talk about Ultimates 3 and Ultimatum.
And we have to judge the work as it stands, because every writer has their own backstory to them, and we don't always know it. We know with Jeff Loeb, but we can't judge everything based on the tragedies a person lived. We have to judge the work as he created it, and so that's all we have.
Well, there's always like the forever argument of can you separate the art from the artist type of thing, and rather than like this is a terrible person that made some good art, instead this is like a person that suffered a lot that's made not great art.
Well, the death of the art writer is one of the constant debates in fiction, but for the sake of not making this like us feeling bad about our feelings on a particular writer and his tragedy in his life, let's just focus on the work itself.
Just like we said, Mark Millar obviously got cucked, and we don't judge his work less harshly, like just because he experienced that.
Well, part of the cucking is that what's going on and you're powerless. So there might be a part of him that enjoyed, like,
we know he got cucked. Like, that's a fact. So
He might want it. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, if you want really good Jeff Loeb, I would definitely recommend like Long Halloween or like the Marvel Color series, like Spider-Man Blue, Daredevil Yellow, Hulk Gray, etc. Like that's where you could really see the strength of him as a writer. If you want to see bad Jeff Loeb,
Read through this with us.
Let's
Yeah, let's
open
get
our
into it.
pages to Ultimates 3, written by Jeff Loeb and Joe Midoriya on art.
oh yeah, and also we're calling this half annual because this is half as long as all the other Ultimate stories.
Yeah.
half of
it's
half.
half as good.
It's half as good.
Yeah,
and the other ones were bad.
I'm glad this was only 5 issues.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. I was like 5 issues, I'm done. I'm in and out. Like yeah. Sweet, good job, Jeff Loeb. You did a service to us show.
Yeah.
It begins with any good story does. It starts with a sex tape.
Well, first I
Yes.
have to say the artist, Joe Maduro, because
yeah.
he's a point of contention too. What are you guys' thoughts on him?
I don't like the art in this. It's weird because I'm like, I feel like the style is actually kind of like it's
very
technically
stylized. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I might explain my thoughts because I know Joe Maduro a little bit from his other stuff. Joe Maduro has a work influenced by video game art very heavily, and now he's a video game designer. He quit comics to become a video game designer. And like,
really?
if you imagine this in like for a World of Warcraft comic, something like that, I think it's perfect. It does not work for this comic.
Yeah, it's very jarring to see the Avengers in this style. It's not bad.
Oh yeah, he did art for the Darksiders. That makes a lot of sense. Not the Darksiders, Darksiders. Yeah.
The like fighting game.
Yeah,
series.
yeah. Like you can see it
okay.
like in the characters and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I was like, this is stylized, and there's parts of me that like really like it. It's just like it's bizarre, kinda like
It's
the
a
way
bad
that
fit.
everyone is and like stands. Like I'd say this is almost like on the opposite. It's not like surrealist stuff, but it's on the opposite of someone that did like the Heroes in Crisis guy. Whereas like that's like it was great seeing everybody there. Here it's like I kind of didn't want to look at everyone, but it's really good art.
There's also a level of like, for some reason this book is so fucking horny, guys.
Yes, but he's a video game artist. Like, like contract, he has to be horny.
But it's like really horny.
I think part of that's the writing.
Oh, it's both. They're
Yeah.
both. They're working hand in hand.
Yeah, even like scenes where like the main female character Scarlet Witch
Because
is
this is horny, but I don't feel like titillated by it. Whereas like
no,
all the
definitely
asses
not.
in Heroes in Crisis, I was like, whoa.
What, are you serious? What are you serious?
Yeah.
I have the same thoughts I had in Heroes of Crisis. Was like, why am I getting an erection in this fucking scene right now? Like,
What's happening? Somebody call my doctor.
No, but like it's like weird to have this scene be titillating. Like if you're having a sex scene, that's obviously you should make it a little bit titillating. But like randomly, like people dying and stuff.
That is what I thought was weird. Is like there's like scenes where like they're making sex jokes, but like it doesn't fit the scene at all, and like I'm like I don't like Valkyrie right now being naked ish. Like it's not fit. It doesn't
Yes.
fit.
Yes. It's okay. We're getting ahead of ourselves with all
God.
the
I'm just
foreshadowing of the
skimming
nudity.
through this fucking first issue. God damn.
So it opens with a leaked sex tape that they are watching in Tony Stark's mansion, and it is between Tony Stark and the, if you remember from Ultimates 2, deceased traitor, Black Widow. Yeah. And they're all like, oh, this is already on the internet. I bought it from a street vendor. But it's been edited. It's got close-ups. It's like, what's going on? And Tony's just like really boozing.
And meanwhile, Hawkeye's just over here being... Hawkeye is such a dick throughout this whole thing. So the last time... In Ultimates 2, his family was murdered. So he lost his wife, he lost his children. But it's like he just turns into a raging asshole this entire arc.
Counterpoint, I think Hawkeye's the most interesting character because of that. Like he's the only one that because like he's such a you never have like a I want to die basically. He just wants to die. Like he even says he wants to die.
Yeah.
And so like he doesn't give a fuck about anything. And we rarely have a protagonist like that in any kind of fiction, like to this extent, where he doesn't give a fuck about being nice, he doesn't give a fuck about whether he survives a fight. He just wants to go into a gunfight, be a dick to everyone, and like
Hopefully die. Yeah, he's like, I wish I died.
yeah.
there.
So like,
I was gonna say, reading this, I didn't know whether or not to make this joke, but he reminded me a lot of post 2016 Sly.
yes, you got it. Okay, all right, so it's on the table then. Okay, the cards on the
So
table.
that's not too far of a...
Yeah. Because whenever Hawkeye said anything, I'd probably say that in the situation too. Like,
Yeah.
Oh boy. So Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, and Pietro, Quicksilver, they're like, we don't care about any of this stuff. We're going to go take a walk. We have our own personal business. While the Wasp is like, this is a PR breach. What are we going to do? And while they're all like kind of arguing, Venom breaks through the wall.
Also, some important foreshadowing. Black Panther's a member of the team now. And
Important foreshadowing.
it is. And Ultrons are the butlers now in the new Avengers mansion.
Yeah, so the Ultrons, the robots that Hank Pym made in Ultimates 2 are the butlers. And also just Black Panther's here, I guess.
Yeah.
So Venom breaks in and he's like smashing the walls. He's like, "Where is she? Tell me where she is, or I'll kill her."
Where Rachel?
And they fight him for a bit, and Black Panther jumps in. We get a full page spread of this. Really, he's nothing but abs. This guy.
That's why I was like, again with the art style. It's like this Black Panther is, his shoulders are broader than anyone I've ever seen in my life. Like, and he's just the guys in this book. Thor's like this too. Are like. It is like Warcraft style.
It's
like
the Rob
they're
Liefeld like school of design.
Yeah,
yeah.
Also, Christian Lichtner is the colorist, and I really like the colorist too.
I do like the coloring.
Yep,
in this
this is
book,
great.
definitely. Yeah. So, and Black Panther doesn't say anything. He never speaks for like quite a while, and he just like is punching Venom.
Venom
and he
uppercuts him in, like super far away and just goes bye.
Yeah,
And
like Team Rocket
this is
blasts
such a
off
quippy
again.
book too.
Oh, we get introduced to another new member, Valkyrie, who now has powers and is kind of like Dora's groupie, kind of.
Yeah,
Girlfriend
she's like
now.
Yeah, Thor's groupie now girlfriend, and she's 19, and Thor's an immortal god, so that's weird.
Like,
I
picture
should
Valkyrie
cut-
from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then just erase her entirely because that's not her at all.
So I say groupie because when she acts, she's very like adoring of Thor.
Oh yeah,
But I mean, they're dating.
Yeah, but but like they are, but like she is like nobody hits my. Her first line is, "My thunder god, please, no one touch my thunder god."
and everything she's like, "Hi, everything you say is so interesting."
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, she's
Ugh,
really like.
that's like totally gross that she cuts
Yeah.
into Venom.
Which at least kind of makes sense. Doesn't make sense how she got powers and they never fucking explain it. Like they don't explain anything
They
else. in the
mention a couple times. Isn't it weird that nobody knows where she got these powers?
story. But this is the same Valkyrie canonically as the last one, who was just a loser, part of a loser team called the Defenders.
Yeah. And then Thor shows up and blasts Venom with lightning.
Yeah,
Venom melts into a pile of shit.
Yeah,
they call
and they're
it
like,
poo. Excuse me.
"Yeah, since when does Venom turn into a pile of poo?" And then Thor and Valkyrie start making out.
Hawkeye's
She's like,
shooting
"Oh."
him, going, "Just make sure he's dead." And Wasp is like, "What are you doing?" And he points a gun at her. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Don't call me Clint. Clint's dead. Only Hawkeye remains."
Also, it's like the writing in all the fights, because some of the action panels are actually pretty nicely drawn, but the dialogue is always like when Sly said before, "Ugh, that's like totally gross."
Yeah.
She does say that, and then Venom's like, "You're a very silly girl who will look much sillier without a head."
Yeah.
And they keep like constant. It's constant in every fucking fight. They just say nonsense.
And I agree that it is interesting that Hawkeye's like, "I want to die," but they are pretty heavy-handed about it. Immediately, he pulls the gun on the Wasp, and he's like, "Don't you call me Clint." And she says, like, "I expect you to not try and get killed." And he's like, "What makes you think I'm trying to get killed?" And she points out that his new costume literally has a bullseye on his forehead.
Yeah.
As much as I find him entertaining, the story, Hawkeye is just fucking bullseye in this fucking story. He literally has a bullseye in his fucking head. He has the fucking same powers as before. So he's just fucking he's full bullseye mode now.
Yeah. So now Hawkeye runs off to go find Black Panther. Then it fast forwards.
It doesn't fast forward. It goes to today, which was the thing I wanted to mention. Is this story starts like it almost wants to be a media res, but it only starts by being like, last night all this stuff happened. where
Oh
I'm like,
yeah, that confused me so much.
why do this framing device of this happened yesterday, then this is today? I'm like, because you never like go back to yesterday. Why did it need to be yesterday? And whatever, it's dumb.
Yeah, the
why
time
have
stuff like that is all. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
So then we see Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and Scarlet Witch is like just in a bikini now. That's her costume.
Yeah.
It's like even worse than like anything that
Whereas
we've seen
Millar,
up until
like
this
back
point.
in the Ultimates 1 and 2, they were like an incestuous pair for like jokes, where they were just off to the side. They're like these weird like foreign brother and sister that hung out together. And here, this was so bizarre that it was going more into their actual like romance with each other, where it's like they come out holding hands, and she's like, "We should get everyone gifts this year." And it's like, "Everyone," and she's like, "It's Christmas, Scrooge," and he's like, "Bah, humbug." I'm like, this is a interesting spotlight to shine on the Marvel Ultimates universe.
And Captain America's like, "You should wear better clothing. You're being unreasonable. You're setting a bad example." And Quicksilver's just like, "You've overstepped your pathetic boundaries."
Yeah, you touch her again, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And Wasp is like, oh, 1944, man, like, you know, you don't understand. They
Yeah,
love
it's-
each other.
Yeah, it's like, of course they do. They're brother and sister. And she's like, no, it's more than that. And she's like clasping at her neck. They're in love. And Captain America goes, but they're brother and sister.
I love it because it makes like Wasp like get with the times, old man. Like now,
Yeah.
everyone's
Yeah, like, yeah, right. That's what I like too.
Yeah, when was this? Like 2004 or
Yeah.
something?
Well, it's such a good, like, him,
2007.
like, commenting
Yeah.
on her costume. I'm like, yeah, that's good. But then it's like the open incest. I'm like, I think it's okay if he's not having difficulty acclimating to that.
Also, the story is so bad, you probably didn't even catch on to it, but I think also Hawkeye was supposed to be a dick to make it seem like he's, spoilers, the potential murderer of the story.
I caught on to it, like, because it zooms in on his face and he's like, someone's gonna, in the media, is gonna find out about them unless we do something about it.
that's like the only line they give to really point towards anyone besides.
No, characters in this are like, well, let's get to the what happened.
Hawkeye
before.
wears a full face mask with the bullseye on his head, and his goggles have red eyes, so he looks the evilest in this.
Yeah. And they just like he keeps pointing out that like if the media found out anything about this, like there's the sex video, obviously that's already a problem, but like if they found out that we had this incestuous brother and sister couple, it'd be a problem. So he's like, I gotta get to the bottom of this. So he goes after Spider-Man to find out what he knows about Venom.
Just so Spider-Man can be in the comic, he does nothing else besides be
Yeah,
interrogated.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's on the cover. and
Wasp goes to see her husband Hank, or ex-husband Hank.
oh, and she points out that Steve hasn't been around a lot lately, and he's just like, I had to get a life of my own, Janet. And he's like, actually, no, I don't want to tell me about it. He does the no, I don't think I will from Endgame.
Also,
Yeah.
I think Joe Maduro forgot that Janet's Asian because she doesn't look it.
Yeah, she's definitely not anymore.
Oh yeah, I forgot. The art is so different that I like Hawkeye. I didn't. I like for a while. I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Well, that's just him having a fucking different costume completely.
So
Yeah.
Janet goes back to talk to Hank, her ex-husband, and she's just like venting and complaining about the team and everything. And then Hank is just like looking at a microscope, and she's like, "Did you fall asleep on me?"
Yep.
And
Again, so he falls asleep while listening to her talk.
yeah, and he's all like drooling all over the place. There's an open, empty, almost empty bottle of pills in front of him. He's OD'd and he passes out.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to Radio City Music Hall where Quicksilver
Get
and
some more great romance between brother and sister here. Pietro,
Yes.
it's snowing. And he's like, I'll never let you go. And then as they're hugging, someone
Also-
fires a gun. What?
Yeah, first of all, just to clarify, when Ryan said she was wearing a bikini, she's still wearing a bikini out in the snow. Like,
Oh, yeah.
She has
She
a
has a
coat
coat.
on.
She's a
She has
coat.
People
on,
are
but-
taking pictures of her too. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
but like she's like in a bikini in the fucking snow.
Yeah.
Now we get to probably the only scene in this whole book that I actually like a lot. The bullet is
Scarlet Witch
coming
getting
through-
shot in the fucking face.
well, no, it's so Scarlet Witch is about to get shot, and Quicksilver jumps into like speed mode, and while the bullet's like basically like frozen in time, it's moving very slowly, but he's trying to call for help. He's trying to figure out what he can do about the bullet. He can't do anything about it, so he's like, fine, I'll just catch it.
We should point out too, in case it's like, why is he trying to figure out how to do everything about a single projectile? This bullet's whizzing around. It's going in like circles. It's trying to chase after her, and
Yeah.
he's like running around with it. So it's not like
Yeah.
any normal bullet.
Yeah.
Right, because I wasn't sure about these progression of events here, but I think he whizzed her away with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, to get her out of the way, but it's still following.
Yeah, the art's not clear.
The art's not.
Yeah, because he's not holding her. He's just running with the bullet.
Yeah. But he's like, fine, I'll just try to catch it. He tries to catch it, and he's like, you're safe now, you're safe. And he holds up his hand, and there's a big hole in his hand, because a human hand can't just stop a bullet. And it went through her, and a doctor is like, I'm a doctor, I'll save her. And he can't, and she dies in the snow in Quicksilver's arms.
Yep.
And to be clear, I don't love this scene because she dies.
I know. I was fucking.
I think it's like an actual interesting use of powers that it's
Yeah, where
probably
it's like,
the
even when
only
you
time
think
we'll
that
see.
you succeed and stuff and you get the bullet, it still doesn't matter. It still goes through you and you can't do anything. Like, you
Yeah.
used the extent of his powers and it wasn't enough.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and if Hawkeye is the only possible suspect, it's a bullet with like weird. Maybe that's how Hawkeye has his accuracy. He has fucking magic bullets or something.
That's what I was assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what they want you to assume.
They say it. I mean, unfortunately, it's not subtle, because in this issue, they're like, who could use a bullet like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that ends issue 1.
yeah, but they said, but like they point out quickly. I think it was like tuned through DNA or something like that. The bullets.
Yeah, fucking DNA seeking bullet. That is, am I the only one that was like, "Fuck this"?
This is only
Like,
for me. This is what I'm like. This is getting good now. DNA seeking bullets.
I, don't know, I didn't even think twice about it.
I was like, that's stupid, but I knew this comic had more problems than that, so I wasn't thinking too much about it. So Spider-Man shows up. I'm not gonna get too much into it because literally it's just him.
it is useless. The scene is useless.
It's great because there's almost like there's no reason for it to exist beyond that. It doesn't do much for the story, but on top of that, it like Spider-Man swinging around, and then Hawkeye comes in just like firing bullets at him, and you're like, "What are you doing? You're just supposed to talk to him."
No,
But
they're
instead he's
trank
just, like,
darts.
And Spider-Man's like, "Are you crazy?" And Hawkeye's like, "Maybe I have gone a little crazy."
Yeah.
And they
Maybe
fight.
every time I hear a gunshot, it takes me right back to when my family.
Or maybe it's all an act to mess with you, and you're like, "This guy is."
The way
yeah.
he says it takes me back to when my family, and then he pauses, and in tiny letters it just says in a different bubble, "My kids." I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And Spider-Man actually says that. He goes, "I get it. You got problems, whatever." But then
It says, "Go cry your eyes out to Oprah."
that's why I like it, because if it was written better, it'd be sympathetic. But he's just so obnoxious that everyone's just like, "Shut the fuck." I like characters that everyone's just like, "Shut the fuck up" to, because that is
I don't
me.
know why you
That-
see yourself in him. The entire at no point is anyone like, "Do you need help or anything?" They're just like, "Shut the fuck up. You're
Yeah.
crazy."
So he's basically a low blow of this fucking story.
Yeah.
and
So
he knocks Spider-Man out, and then just leaves him there.
yeah, and then first of all, he was going to get Black Panther because Black Panther disappeared when they fought Venom, and Captain America shows up saying, "Oh, mission aborted. I'm gonna get Black Panther. Get out of here, Hawkeye." And yeah, they just leave Spider-Man there, and he says, "I hate all of you."
Spider-Man.
What a
does.
fucking waste of my life reading that scene. Like,
That's like half the issue, right?
what?
That's like a good.
5 fucking issues in this fucking comic, and that was like almost a third of it. So Hawkeye shows up with
Yeah,
Scarlet
it's
Witch.
7 pages.
Yeah, and so Quicksilver shows up with Scarlet Witch.
Shows up back to like the Avengers, and he's
Yeah.
like, "She's dead. She was killed by a bullet that was programmed to kill only Wanda, keyed to her DNA."
Yeah, and then
How
he's,
Quicksilver found this out.
I can't believe you guys weren't phased by that idea. I can't. That's like crazy. To me.
It
That's
is
like,
Excuse me.
stupid.
I know that there's a bullet in. I might be a better story or not. When Captain America gets killed, he gets shot with a time bullet that sends him back in time. I think keying something to your DNA
Okay.
is a little bit more believable than
Okay,
a time
it doesn't
You're
send him
right,
back
but
in
if they had a
time.
time-
He gets unstuck in time like Billy Pilgrim. It's different.
I just thought about Fox die from Metal Gear Solid, and I'm like, okay, I can buy this.
no, that's like a poison that attacks people from the inside out.
It is dumb. The problem is, like, everything else was so much dumber after this that it like numbed me to it, and like I can't. But the emotion is dead. The emotion I felt when it came up. So
I'm just imagining, like, so this bolt's flying around. How does it know where it's going? Whatever.
alright, so
DNA. It's looking. It's like, this is warmer because this is my target. They have the right DNA. I don't know how it finds their DNA, but that doesn't matter. It's cool.
How did Quicksilver figure this out?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
So-
because I guess he was like the fact that it was zooming around. Like
It could be
the only.
key to other things.
Not. It can't be psychics. It has to be a DNA seeking bullet.
he fucking knows Jean Grey. He fought the X-Men. Whatever.
Yeah, that does it. He's like, this has to be Jean Grey.
But the main thing is basically Hank is in the hospital bed and Wanda's by his side, and she's like, "I just need you to wake up. I need to hear what you took so we can help you." And when Quicksilver runs in with Scarlet Witch's body, he's like, "My father was right. This never would have happened if we'd stayed with the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants."
Yeah, so very obvious that he's gonna be evil.
Then there's a warning going on, main supply failure, and then he's like, speaking of the Brotherhood of Mutants.
Tony is drunk out of his mind.
Also, wait, you don't forget this great scene with Thor and Valkyrie. Thor and Valkyrie just cuddling, and she's like, "Why do you talk like that? Like you used to in the last 2 comics, where you spoke old like English." And he's just like, sometimes he just doesn't do it, and he's like, and she says, "Tee hee, I thinketh it cuteth," and I'm like, I'm gonna kill myself.
He said, "For the past year, I struggled to prove my identity to the people of Midgard. Now I have no such conflict. Verily."
a lot of stuff, people speculate, a lot of stuff written is like Jeff Loeb rewriting the scripts to justify mistakes he made, and people speculate that his excuse for fucking up Thor's dialogue.
Oh.
We'll get into more.
Whatever.
But
But
There's more
anyway,
cleanups.
the Brotherhood of Mutants shows up, like the Blob and Sabretooth and Mystique and Madrox, who's another dude that just clones himself.
Multiple man.
He's
I know
Multiple
him.
Is
Yeah.
that Multiple Man?
That is
Yeah.
Multiple Man.
Okay.
Jamie Madrox.
I didn't know if that was his like name or code name or not. Madrox.
Mobile Man's name is J.B. Madrox. For some reason, Ultimate Universe is called Madrox from the start.
Okay.
And Lorelai? Who's Lorelai again?
That's a very deep cut. So
Psychic.
people who say Jeff Loeb is bad continuity. Wow, that was like the ultimate mutant Magneto reveal at the end of the '60s X-Men series.
Oh yeah.
Like that is a deep cut,
She's a
Jeff
psychic.
Loeb.
That's all you need to know.
This is when I was like, I can dig this. I'm familiar with this villain team. I know all these
Yep.
people's powers.
So same with me. And then we cut to Tony, and then Natasha, Black Widow, shows up again, and he's like, "I can't believe it, you're dead." And she's like, "I'm not the one who is dead, Tony. You." And then Wasp
It's
Monster,
obviously Mystique, and then
which was so weird because it introduces them like coming
5
into the
seconds
complex, and
ago.
then just instantly she's outside the window. Mystique is breaking
Yeah.
in, like she's in two places at once. It's
and
bad.
Wasp already knows, and she's like, "You have bad taste in women, lol."
Yep.
Are
you sober? Sober enough. And he puts on his Iron Man suit.
And then this is where this is Lorelai's power, I guess. The Thor and Valkyrie cuddling scene. Lorelai is behind Thor, and she's like, "Kill your girlfriend. She's a fraud."
yeah, kill the girl. Thor.
And then they fight.
Yeah, and she's like totally uncool. Thor, baby, you gotta get your head straight.
Listen, you bitch! I knew a girl like you in high school.
Yep.
Yeah, and she's like, "No one can resist my siren's call."
No, but this is so a good example, Sly, what you started with. Listen, you bitch, I knew a girl like you in high school. Played all the boys because she was this hottie. She even messed with a guy I liked. The big difference between then and now, and she picks up her sword, I couldn't chop her head off. And of course, she's in her underwear.
Yep.
Yeah. And so Wasp fights blah blah's like, "I'm gonna eat you up,"
Yep.
which readers of Ultimatum know it's foreshadowing.
Spoilers. Don't spoil Ultimate.
Don't spoil. I need to be pure for it.
Oh, gross.
So
Oh my God.
they fight the Brotherhood.
Yeah,
Also, Blob, everyone else attacks people. Blob is just in the fridge eating, and
Yeah.
Wasp goes to fight.
So yes, he's just
Oh, wait,
fighting.
another great line. Tony Stark. Management reserves the right to refuse to serve anyone. That means you fat tub of goo.
Oh, man.
And then you get, I love this just real quick. Hawkeye is fighting multiple men, and it's like, the best part of killing multiple men is kept. There's always plenty more where that came from.
My favorite part is Joe Maduro does his homage to Hickman, showing a pointless splash page of Captain America tells Creed, "I want you out of this house, Creed, Sabretooth." And this is a full splash page of just Sabretooth hitting his shield saying, "Suck it."
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole splash page.
What is this an homage to?
So Hickman, not Hickman. Who's the artist from last Ultimate? Hitch, yeah.
Oh, because
Hitchman,
it's supposed to
Hitchman.
be. Yeah.
Sorry, sorry, Hickman.
Yeah, all these big full pages of two buff dudes facing off.
Oh, man.
And then again, Captain America's like, "This is what's tearing the moral fabric of our country. You saying suck it." Like he's like, "This is the problem with today's world."
Meanwhile, Hawkeye's yelling, "Come on, you sons of bitches. 3 more and I win a stuffed teddy."
And shooting men in the head, living men. Anyway, Magneto shows up with to see Quicksilver, and he's like,
Wait.
anyway, I want what?
Multiple Man actually makes like full clones of himself, right? Like they're
Yeah.
independently sentient. Or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
So like,
I swear we've had this conversation during
yeah,
Death of X.
right. We probably did. So like, he is actually just murdering people.
Yes.
It's just
Yes.
it's okay because one will survive.
This is a weird thing because they act like Robot writes Madrox like he's like hive mind for most of this.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering because they all say kill him at the same time, and I'm like, I guess that's not murder if the main consciousness stays alive.
But it is a contradiction because in Ultimatum, they do reveal like one of them like rebels and says like, "I'm not gonna kill myself."
Oh, okay.
So even Loeb doesn't keep it straight. In Ultimatum,
Yeah.
he contradicts this. Magneto goes to Quicksilver. And
He
he's now
wants
time.
Wanda's body.
Yeah, and he's like, "Now it's time to be your family." And Quicksilver brings up a very good point, saying, "You shot off my kneecaps."
Which I was like, excuse me? Like, you seem pretty fine having that happen to you.
This is a funny because like Mark Millar clearly was building like a redemption arc for Quicksilver. First, Quicksilver got convinced by I think Cyclops convinced Quicksilver to betray Magneto, and he basically took off Magneto's helmet so Professor X could mind wipe Magneto. We think Magneto would not forgive him after that. And then Magneto shot Quicksilver's kneecaps. You think that's it? That Quicksilver's now in the Avengers, but no. Now after this talk, he's like, "Magneto, you're like." I can understand Quicksilver being like, "Fuck the Avengers," because they were never really close before. But like him joining Magneto right away is really
This
weird.
is Ultimate X-Men, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which
Okay.
Millar wrote for the first like 36
Yeah.
issues or something.
Yeah. Like when I said like Millar wrote like the Ultimate Universe. Like,
Shooting Quicksilver in the kneecap.
I'm surprised he didn't cut Quicksilver beforehand.
Yeah. Anyway, Quicksilver gets out of there with, like, he takes all of the Brotherhood of Mutants, he teleports them out before anyone knows what's going on. And then guess who shows up?
Wolverine saying, you got a big problem on your hands. Just so Wolverine could be on the cover.
Snicket.
And the thing is, the narrative there is 2 seconds ago, and this was the first time I was like, wait, from what? And then I flipped back and did the same thing that you guys did, where I'm like, this is one linear progression. Why set the frame of
I don't want to bring that up
after
because
this?
I was like, am I stupid? Am I hopelessly stupid?
Like that says 2 seconds ago, and like last comic had this is happening today.
I'm like,
This is one of the few stories that we've read where I like just couldn't keep it straight. Like what? It felt like like there was no one storyboarded this and was like, this event is gonna lead into this event. It was just like a mishmash of stuff happening that doesn't really like work. It just felt so weirdly paced. Like everything just didn't. It did not have a natural story flow to it.
Yes.
Yep.
It feels like a first draft. It all feels like a first draft to me.
This book
Like,
is
I want a few things to happen,
this book
but
is-
I don't know how I'm going to tie them together.
This book
so
is
it's
kind
just
of good.
gonna-
It is so bad it's good. And that's another thing I wanted to bring up.
Yes, it is definitely so bad.
So, Jeff Loeb was a film and TV writer before he became a comic writer.
He wrote Teen Wolf, the movie.
He wrote Teen Wolf. More importantly, he wrote Commando, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that is also so bad it's good.
What?
And part of me wonders, like, if he was channeling that, like I just want to see one-liners and sexy women and
Maybe
people
like with Millar, that is his natural state. Like, is this kind of like really bad, roughshod, dumb?
I can't believe that the person who wrote like Long Halloween, this is his natural state.
Well, maybe after events happen, maybe he was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna write what I feel like writing now, and this is what he came up with.
Maybe.
Like
That's what I was saying about like this is natural state, because I could see something like Long Halloween taking a lot of effort.
I think saying about his natural state is like a misnomer. Cause this is how he's like when he doesn't give a fuck. Like Long Halloween is him putting high effort into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so issue 3 has a cover that's just, it's a giant dinosaur eating Wolverine, which is excellent.
A naked Wolverine.
Yes. But I just want to mention that I have the trade, and it has, thanks Joe for buying this for me. Asshole. But it has a Frank Cho variant, and if you don't know Frank Cho, he's very like of a cheesecakey kind of like titillating artist, but he's drawing in a more like comic booky style and less stylized version this Scarlet Witch costume, and goddamn, it's really uncomfortable to look at. And it's just like, I didn't really think of it that much as being like super like cheesecakey until I saw other artists do it, like, and it's not good. I don't like it. But anyway.
So Wolverine's like, the witch, ding dong, the witch is dead.
It's Scarlet Witch.
It doesn't say that.
Just the other, I know.
But
You have to clarify with this.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
Alright,
if
so
he did.
the Scarlet Witch is dead. Murder in the streets of New York. Blah blah blah. Stuff that we saw.
It's a recap fucking page.
Yeah.
But you get a great where Wolverine's like, it's the Brotherhood, and he's like, the X-Men make Magneto their business. That's how we know all this stuff. And Hawkeye says, didn't you
my
used to
God.
belong to the Brotherhood? And Wolverine goes, didn't you used to have a wife and 2 kids?
In a so bad as good way, I think this line's awesome. Like it is so.
like how? Oh, man, it's just like who would what?
I know it's so
who would
fucking
say
funny.
that?
Like
Both
it's like
assholes.
No, that's more than asshole. I mean, that's like
he joined the X-Men. He was a member of the Brotherhood. He was their assassin. He joined the X-Men in order to betray from the inside and kill them, but he was won over. So out of all the characters, he would say this.
Yeah.
okay.
And then we get a 2-page spread of Hawkeye just pumping bullets into Wolverine's chest. Wolverine like reacted to the fact that Hawkeye just called him a mutie, which in this universe is a racial slur.
Yep.
And it's just like, cool team you got.
You
here,
Captain
guys.
America scowling at the bottom for no
yeah,
reason.
they're watching Hawkeye about to die, and Hawkeye's like, just fucking kill me, please.
Yeah, I'm better off dead anyway. And then that's always the sign of you don't kill this person, you let them suffer.
And then Janet says, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And Hawkeye says, "Fuck off, Janet." Captain America's like,
Cap says, hey, watch that language, mister.
I can't it bothered me how much like I don't feel like I like the idea of like old Steve Rogers unable to cope with modern times, but his only sticking point really is people's language, and then Wanda's
The way
outfit
women
once.
dress, yeah.
And I'm like,
he's more of a caricature, especially in this story. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like he's more of a fully developed character in Ultimates.
He's like a political cartoon about boomers more than like an actual character.
Yeah.
yeah, I did not. enjoy that at all.
They just talk about they have to go and get Quicksilver, right?
Yeah, and then we get some backstory. Wolverine is saying, years ago, after the war, I went to the Balkan Mountains, and I was dying in the snow looking for Wundagore.
He wanted to find a way to not become immortal, and he stumbled upon Scarlet Witch's mom. And
Yeah,
he's like,
Magda.
yo, she's
And-
hot, so they have sex in front of
Immediately.
a fire.
Yeah, they
And
just...
And it's also like she's all like in silhouette most of the
Yeah.
time, but the silhouettes are so explicit.
Yeah.
Her big old boobs
You can
just
see
sitting
all
out
the
there.
curves. All
It's
the
in the
curves.
Also,
center
yeah,
of the
and
panel.
it's like okay, look, it's in the background. You can't tell, but here's every position they're going through. It's like okay.
Also, what's weird is before this narration, before he even goes into the backstory, they're like, why do you care so much about this? And he says, we're not talking about any girl here. We're talking about Magneto's daughter, and she could have been mine. But then in this backstory, he's banging the mom. So I guess he's like, I could have fucked the whole family, I guess. Like, is that what he's saying?
Or is he saying that she could have been my daughter? It
Oh.
might be that. Again,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not 100% clear because he's like, Scarlet Witch is so hot, and also she looks just like her mom, who I had sex with. And the story concludes by Magneto coming home and seeing them fucking. So then he
And
blows.
he's like, I will not be cucked by the likes of you, Wolverine.
Jeff Loeb was like, Mark Millar, you think you can put cuck in your story? I'm the old cuck master.
Yeah.
Later on, Magneto asks Wolverine to kill Scarlet Witch, I think, or something.
No, to kill Quicksilver. It's this weird thing about like
Oh my god.
Quicksilver could be
Magneto
stuck to the
doesn't like
twins.
Quicksilver because he's like 50% human or something. He said
yeah.
Yeah, so
Mags is a human.
years later, he apparently shows back up and meets
Wolverine.
Magneto. Yeah, Wolverine meets the family.
This is when he's in the Brotherhood.
Yeah, and apparently Magneto forgot. that
Or he
this guy,
knew, but like was okay with the cooking.
Yeah, I guess. Even though.
Jeff Loeb needs to be
Whatever.
true to Mark Millar's intended manuscript.
Yeah, so he met Wolverine, didn't know or didn't care that this guy fucked his wife, and then was like, hey, can you kill my son because he's pathetic and weak?
Yeah.
And
Literally,
then
he
when-
says, "My son is weak, pathetic. Kill him."
and then he goes to do that because, like, I guess some guys like kill my son, you do it. And this is when Scarlet Witch defends.
I want to appreciate real quick that Quicksilver says that Scarlet Witch is looking more like mom every day. So he's both sleeping with his sister who looks like his mom.
And Wolverine's like, I wasn't sure what would have happened if I hadn't interrupted. It's
Yep.
very clear the way they're holding hands and looking at each other. They're about to bang, and his pickup line is, "You look just like our mom."
I should note, I don't know if this is canon. I heard this is what I heard before. I'm not going to look this up, so take it at what you will. I heard that this was Jeff Loeb's way to explain, the Wolverine cucking Magneto was Jeff Loeb's way to explain why Magneto is ageless. Because Wolverine's sperm...
Oh no!
What?
I don't know. I don't know how. I don't remember exactly, but like supposedly, like having fucking the same woman made.
Please
from
don't
Wolverine.
tell me this.
I'm not looking this up to clarify it.
Please don't tell me this.
Anytime, like with the Spider-Man story, anytime you have to say this superhero's sperm ... It's just like you're done. Like just stop with this comic.
I looked up Wolverine sperm lobe, and nothing showed up.
Thank God.
This is what I heard in the when this came out. Maybe it was a false rumor. I hope so.
False flag operation.
So anyway, he puts his blades into Quicksilver's chest and is like, if you move, you'll die because you're so fast. But I'm like, if he's going so much faster, can't he just pull himself out the other way and just knock?
He's
Whatever.
stuck to the ground. Whatever.
Super speed. I'm always like, it's so fucking dumb that you just have to be like, whatever.
It doesn't
Then
matter
Scarlet
because
Witch.
Wanda just summons a bunch of
Dinosaurs.
dinosaurs, and I guess that's how she makes Dinosaur Island, right? The Savage
that
Land.
Savage Land.
Because
Oh,
she summons
fuck.
dinosaurs here, so that's another
Yes.
explanation.
I totally didn't even. I fucking forgot there were dinosaurs here.
Oh, you forgot
I
don't
can-
block because everything else dumped you, Phil. Well, how
But
can it happen?
even then, Pietro, Quicksilver, like exposits what the dinosaurs. We'll tell everyone it's one of Father's experiments gone wrong because that was the lore previously established.
Yeah. And then she's like, no, I'm too strong if I can summon dinosaurs. I can't control.
It's because Wanda's dead. Like, wow, you set up her powers after she's dead.
Oh, yeah. And then basically watching this from the... So Wolverine escapes the dinosaurs and then watches them
like,
comfort
kiss,
each other.
and he's like spurned by his father, desperate for his mother. Pietro found in Wanda a kind of love that no one in this room can really understand.
He definitely watched them fuck, right?
Yeah, it definitely did. There's many characters in the story that really admire their love. Like,
It's so weird because when I was reading this, I'm like, why is their relationship a central part of this?
I mean, like,
comic?
it's like, I guess romantic, like more than any other character in the Ultimates.
Yeah, like there's actually no one else is in love as much as they're in love. To be
Yeah.
frank.
Yeah, in this universe, this is by far the most pure and least fucked up love.
It is true. It is true. Like, no one else has been in love in this story.
It's a meta commentary on Millar and the universe he
But
cultivated.
yeah, and we see Wolverine in the bushes just watching maybe his kids fuck.
And Wolverine's like, anyway, Hawkeye, you fucking asshole. Someone shot Wanda with a gun that was very, one hell of a marksman must have done it. And then Captain America's like, I don't understand your innuendo.
Yeah,
You want
if you got something to say it. He's like, how helpful would he be at catching the shooter? And Captain America's like,
So fucking stupid. And then they're like, let's go to Savage Land. Hey, Black Panther, where have you been? And where's Captain America? And he says nothing. And they're like, I guess that's that. And then...
Because you can figure out Captain America's Black
No,
Panther.
don't spoil. Don't spoil.
I don't say, like, how the fuck...
No,
No,
don't
can't
spoil.
We gotta save it for the big reveal.
Then Wasp meets up with Tony Stark, and she's like, Tony, last I saw you were fighting Blob. Can we interrogate him? And he's like, he won't be bothering us anymore. Don't worry. I found the bullet that killed Wanda. It's DNA specific.
Yep.
And then he
Wouldn't it
says,
make so much more sense to introduce this idea now instead of having Quicksilver just say it.
Yeah.
Yep.
and then
absolutely.
Tony Stark says, Wasp says, who makes something like that? And he goes, I know who makes it, Stark Industries. And she says, you did it? Tony?
He takes off
And
his
he goes,
mask and turns around.
not Tony.
and it's just a robot face. And he said, who said anything about being Tony?
And this is when I was like, and then he zaps her, and I'm like, why tell her about the bullet? Like, why pretend you're Tony for 5 seconds if you're gonna just stab her? Like, I hate when villains are like, I'm a good guy. Let me tell you my plan.
This gets
I'm
worse.
bad.
The whole reason they forgot their plans because they tell them in the next issue.
Whatever.
And then everyone else.
It cuts to them on the Savage Land, and Valkyrie's like, dinosaurs are pretty cool.
Yep. And then these two people just show up as the stinger at the end. It's Shauna and her boyfriend Kazar.
Yeah, Kazar or Kazar. I
He's
don't know.
old. They're from old comics, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
I
just
remember
like
them.
people that live on the in the.
I
Savage
remember
Land.
a lot of the X-Men stuff from a long time ago. It's like one of the
Oh,
few series
what
I
a-
remember.
What a thing to
They're
end
just
on.
like Tarzan type characters
Yeah.
that live on the Savage Land.
Okay.
Okay.
So, issue 4. We got 2 issues left, people. Hang in there, because things are about to get really rough. It cuts back in time years ago. It's a lot of
This
years
art
ago,
is
actually.
the best art in the book, in my opinion.
It's
super
black and
good.
white. It's Xavier and Magneto flying with a young Quicksilver and Wanda in the back. My favorite is that Quicksilver's still like hitting on his sister even when they're like 4 years old. And then
Very weird.
Their ship goes down into the Savage Lands. And then it's basically that's how Magneto got there and came to rule and establish a base there, I guess.
Yeah, he like wiped out like their whole tribe, and Shanna
Yeah.
and Kazar were the only ones left.
Yeah, and they explain that's what happened to them. So then they're like, all right, let's get our weapons and go try and help fight. And then you
It's
have...
also weird. It's weird to see baby Kazar and Shanna, like, kids in loincloths running around.
Yeah, and so then Wolverine's like, Panther, I want you right where I could see you. So he's on.
As
to
the
him.
Black Panther.
That's what I love. It's the whole time I was like, so if it's not Black Panther, like, what?
How
is
the
this
fuck did
story
he join the
doing?
team? How did he fucking join the team? How did they let him in? He just fucking got betrayed by Black Widow and they fucking let in Black Panther.
I think that's supposed to be referencing that, like, in the main universe, when people were like, we don't know about Black Panther, Captain America was the one who vouched for him, that, like, maybe that Steve is the one who, because he keeps saying, like, I'll handle this.
Do they let people on the team who we've never seen their face before?
They did in the main universe. They kept their identity secret for a long time. And Thor in their ship brought like a whole arsenal of axes and swords and stuff.
From Ulick
So
Patrol.
you have, oh my god, let's just skip that. Don't worry about that. It cuts back to Tony Stark and the Wasp, and Robot Iron Man's holding the Wasp up, and it's like, imagine a world with no disease, no famine, no war. And then Captain America's like, you forgot, no freedom, and he attacks, and it says, come with me if you want to live.
Why would he reference
Great.
Terminator?
I don't
here?
know.
He's trying to reference his his old buddy Arnold, guys.
But then Hank Pym shows up riding a bee, and he zaps Captain America, who was also a robot, revealed in the very next page. So I was like, why did he save her from an Ultron robot?
Right? That's
and then
another
an
thing.
Ultron robot was trying to kill
the
her.
like they don't understand, like, playing the part of the good guy doesn't matter if you're not giving yourself an advantage. If you're taking out your own teammates for no gain, like Wasp was fucked already. You double team her there and you beat, like, you win.
If anyone watched Hero Season 3, Loeb did this
And
too.
Janet also, she also makes a crack that Hank, you're awake and out of the house, but your ankle bracelet, you're under house arrest.
He's like, that's not important. There's a conspiracy. It's everywhere, and I think I may be to blame. So I'm like, we have like 2 issues to go, and we're halfway through this one. Where is this like conspiracy against the world going to go?
Yeah, and also this uprising against Magneto, like, they want, like, this is not a fully fleshed out thing at all. They're like, hey, the local people hate Magneto. We're gonna have this rebellion, I guess, but it's like for 5 pages.
Yep, so you get Hawkeye shooting people and saying, more fun than shooting a barrel full of monkeys. And then Hawkeye says to the people that saved him, the Khazar, whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
Sabretooth, like, rips apart Hawkeye.
Yeah, he just says, don't be an idiot, just let me go, let me die here. And then Juggernaut...
Get the fuck out of here!
Juggernaut just shows up to fight Wolverine and Black Panther, and Wolverine's like,
says
the
the
fucking
fucking
Juggernaut? Yeah. And the Juggernaut's like, ain't you heard? Nothing can stop the Juggernaut as he's fighting Black Panther.
He's smashing Black Panther to fucking death, and then Pegasus is flying around with Valkyrie.
Yeah, Valkyrie's flying on top of a Pegasus.
As he's ripping apart the Black Panther, spoilers, it reveals he has white skin under his torn clothes.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes. Whoever could it be?
Yep, and then Valkyrie is flying on top of Pegasus, then she falls off, then she wakes up, and she's back in the apartment, and she owes her landlord rent, and she's like, Thor, please come rescue me. And then it's revealed that it's some psychic guy who can,
Mastermind.
Mastermind. I don't know this guy. I know Pyro in the back, and Pyro's like, yo, she's kind of hot. Do you think we could play with her while she's, like, in her psychic mental place?
So, I was going to say, I do like the first part of the setup where her landlord's knocking on her door and she's crying, say, Thor, please save me again. I think that's nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it does
I agree.
It does make sense. Mastermind is rapey in the 616 universe. He tried to make Jean Grey love him, so he would be rapey in Ultimate Universe.
It's one of those things that I think supervillains with that power probably would rape people with it.
It's still very
but,
uncomfortable to read,
yeah,
especially from,
and
like, a male author being like, well, it's just, like...
The thing is, Dark Phoenix Saga was what is about that. Mastermind corrupts Jean Grey to make her into Dark Phoenix, and he makes her into his lover. And that's one of the great stories of all time, X-Men stories of all time. So, I don't think you can discount it completely. It is very creepy here.
I'm saying, as a dude, I don't feel comfortable being like, this is a great idea.
Also, I feel like at this point, I've seen it so many times.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like she falls off the Pegasus, and they're just like, let's rape her immediately.
Also, he's not even the one who's doing it. He's like, she's in her own private hell, and Pyro's like, she's kind of hot and unconscious and crying.
Yeah.
It's like, let's play with her.
So Ryan would know this better than I would. I heard the people bitching about this when it came out. I don't know if it's still accurate. Because I stopped reading X-Men around this time. Supposedly Pyro's a member of the X-Men at this point.
That sounds kind of familiar.
Yes, so because like the Ultimate Universe likes to invert some characters a lot.
Yeah,
and they
Wolverine.
and they inverted Pyro to make him have a redemption arc, and Jeff Loeb didn't realize that. And
he's just like, oh, he's evil, right? You get Thor fighting this guy who puts up a barrier, and Thor's like, you can't stand against a god. You are but a mortal, a thing of mere flesh and blood, and he pounds him down. And then...
Oh, okay. Just real quick, I just want to read this quick excerpt to show how much effort that Loeb put in. Pyro moves into the Xavier Institute and becomes one of Xavier's X-Men. He begins wondering if he belongs at the Institute, and Wolverine assures him that he does. Pyro has apparently defected, as in Ultimates 3 number 4, where it is unknown how or why he joined Magneto's brotherhood. Also, his face is no longer scarred, and he's now immune to flame, despite previous portrayals.
It's very clear Loeb didn't know what he was doing.
That's an accusation of Loeb very, very, very frequently.
Yeah.
He does not give a shit about otherwise right. He just writes his own stuff.
He just pulled a Tom King. He's just like, all right, this character is obviously evil. I'm using him here. Yep, and then Magneto shows up and he's like, I'll give you a chance to surrender. And then Thor goes to fight him. And then Magneto's like, you just have a thing of iron. And this is so, like, kind of confusing. He, like, breaks the rocks around him. And then Thor just kind of, like, falls into fire or
The
magma.
art's not clear. The art's not clear, but he made him go down to sensitivity.
Because he mentions there's also metal in his body armor.
Yeah.
I think he made
for
him so.
I'm like, how many times do you have to go against Magneto and be like, well, I'm just going to wear metal on my body armor? Like, wouldn't you be like, no metal? Obviously.
Yeah.
Duh.
A stone axe.
Yeah.
Or like, also, what I'm wondering
He has the
too
power
is
of lightning. Just strike Magneto with lightning. He can't do anything.
yeah, Thor's so goddamn strong. I'm like, I know magnetism's strong. Magneto is really strong, but
That's
I'm
not
like,
but that's not a thing. Like the magnets, like the control, like controlling metals from magnetism. A lot of times, even when he fights other X-Men, he still has ways to get around them not having metal. It's not like that's like obviously a shortcut. Like don't do metal, but he like it's not like he gets one shot when he's fighting a guy wearing plastic. You know.
Yeah.
So.
But he slams Thor into the center of the
It
earth.
doesn't slam. It's just like he just goes.
I think he makes him so heavy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just whatever.
That's
It's not how
not
magnets work.
Anyway, he's like, is your sister safe, Quicksilver? He's like, yes. Then Magneto's like, time to crush this revolution. Then we cut back to Hank Pym and Janet, and he's like, hey, check this out. Inside of here, like, they go through the sewers, and he's like, look in here. It's our son, who's basically, he's the Yellow Jacket now. And
Yeah.
it's Ultron, but he's formed all of the Avengers, like the original Ultimates team, but they're all robots now.
They're all like different versions of them. It's they're not all of them have new costumes in Ultimates 3. They're really the Ultimates 2 costumes, and they have the Hulk back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Yellow
and they're like
Jackets, like, they think of us as toasters, alarm clocks, and vibrators.
Well, don't use the T word.
Toasters?
Yeah. It's a
But when
slur.
the war between man and mutant is settled, and most of the human population is dead, they will only then will they realize the machines have already won. So I was like, wow, what a thing to set up at the end of your penultimate issue is that
Yeah,
there's
and-
an army of machines going to conquer the Earth.
One thing to note. So to clarify, this has a tag March and Ultimatum, and every Marvel book had that at the time. Every Ultimate book. Basically, this was supposed to be leading into Ultimatum, the final Ultimate events that everyone thought would be the final Ultimate event. So there was a chance that this was setting up for a story that didn't resolve, but no. It wraps up all the plot lines in this one story arc.
Yeah, there's only one cliffhanger, and it's in the very last page where you're like, oh, what a twist.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Also,
How could you?
these robots too, they're like, they have, from what we can tell, like the personality of their human counterpart. Like Iron Man robot is like, anyone have any vodka? I'm like,
Yeah, they like
okay.
manipulate the personalities or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, final issue.
Issue 5.
Make sure you frame what time it is. Is it 2 days ago? Is it 2 minutes ago?
It's
is
now.
it yesterday?
Now it's now,
Oh,
yeah.
it's now.
Now it's now.
And so it opens with an immediate flashback. It's now the Ultron robots are expositing out loud to each other, I guess.
Why does he call him Henry Pym?
Hank is Henry.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I think I knew that.
So apparently, when Hank Pym first showed the robots to Nick Fury in Ultimates 2,
right?
when the Scarlet Witch like flirted with one as like a throwaway gag, it gave her it gave them a spark of life.
It's like called a boner.
Because
But
she alters reality, like that's her power. So it made this robot not be like subservient anymore, I guess.
Yeah, and it recaps everything, and it's just now
He says
the robot.
Wanda became my desire, my obsession.
Yeah.
And so he leaks the sex tape in order to get Tony Stark drunk because he's like, Tony Stark would have noticed that his team was getting replaced by robots.
Yeah.
So if he's too drunk, he's out of the picture.
He created Venom to kidnap Wanda, but she wasn't there. So that whole plot was like kind of useless. That's why it was like, where is she?
Yeah, so he followed them to Radio City, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and waited until
He's-
right before
he said, I followed them as I often did, disguised in the
you have to
crowd.
clarify. He's explaining this to himself, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I did.
No,
yeah,
he's leaving a
talking
message.
to the team.
He's
I
leaving a
guess.
message
To Hank Pym.
To Hank, yeah.
Why?
Which is so weird because he also reveals that he drugged Hank Pym to kill him. So it's like, let me leave a message to you. You're dead, but
And he waits until right before Quicksilver says, "I love you," and he's like, "It was at that moment, that fateful moment, that I realized she would never be mine.
Yep.
It was a crime of passion, and no one suspected the butler did."
Okay, so I want to say how much this is why the DNA seeking bullet got me again, where I'm like, it's a crime of passion. He brought a DNA-seeking bullet for his lover just in case he needs to seek her DNA with this bullet.
It wasn't premeditated. He just happened to have
There's no way at issue 5 Jeff Loeb remembered that it was a DNA seeking bullet.
For me, I love this because it's done so dramatically. It's all in white. It shows the silhouette of like Quicksilver crying over the dead Wanda, and I loved it because this is a robot that felt jealous of a girl in an incestuous relationship with her brother. And I'm like, the reason I like this so much is that this is really anime right now. Like, this is over the top dumb and it's wrong.
The art makes it feel even more anime, too.
Yeah, like a DNA-seeking bullet, that's anime.
So then it cuts back to Hank and Janet listening in, and she goes, "Oh my God, that thing murdered Wanda!" And he's like, "Wait, it doesn't stop there. He's still explaining." So he's building a Wanda robot right now so that she will view Ultron as a hero. Yeah. The war has only just begun.
He has Tony Stark in it too because that's how they get the DNA bonded with the alloys.
Yeah. Your Tony Stark never fought the Blob that day. He'd already been replaced. So when did he get replaced? Before he was visited by Mystique? Or, I don't know.
No, it can't be.
Because he'd never been replaced, and Mystique doesn't know about the Ultron plan.
Whatever.
It's just like that happened in the span of like 5 minutes.
Did they explain why they're the Ultimates now? Like they're imitating the Ultimates?
They're the next generation of Ultimates.
The
He
robots.
did it all for Wanda. I need her by my side.
Why they're imitating?
Yeah, he wants Wanda to look at him as a hero. That's it.
No. But Hulk is a mass murderer. Everyone hates him. Why would they have the Hulk on their team?
Also,
he's supposed to be dead.
Well, but then he says
they
the war
killed him
has
because
only
of a
begun.
trial. Why would you bring the Hulk back?
But hold on, no. This is airtight. I knew that by killing Wanda, her father would be enraged. You taught me parents are always protective of their children. Guy who made me the butler, reminding. Magneto would lead the charge against all of mankind, and the machines would be victor. You get it? Let the guy who controls magnets destroy the world, and all the machines will be fine.
Yeah, and he also says, like you guys said before, he's talking to Hank Pym theoretically, and he's like, "Your Tony Stark never fought the Blob that day." Hank already overdosed before Tony fought the Blob too. So it's like he's telling him like as if he was there for this scene.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Like he would know that Tony was fighting.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It cuts back to the Savage Land where Magneto's like kicking everyone's ass, and now all of the Ultron robots,
which he has like lightning powers, I guess, in the Ultimates universe.
Yeah, electromagnetism.
Okay. And then so the Ultimates show up to stop them, and you have this guy who looks like it's basically Tony Stark got freed and he got put into like War Machine's suit or something. He looks blue.
Oh, I guess.
I think it is.
Yeah, I guess.
So he's watching this fight going on, and he's like,
and Hank and Janet are
so
in his helmet, all tiny.
Oh, wait, this is the best reveal in the whole goddamn book. All right, Juggernaut's fighting dinosaurs, and Wolverine's
shows up on a Triceratops and
puts his claws to this robot Captain America.
No, puts his claws to the Juggernaut's throat.
Oh, it is Juggernaut, right? Right. And then a shield flies out of Black Panther's hand, and he goes, "Logan, let me." Black Panther was Captain America for some reason. Why does it matter?
This racked my brain so much because I was like, this is a neat twist. So a superhero pretending to be another one in order to do something, but it's like, did he know about the robots? No. Why was he dressed as Black Panther the entire time? He didn't let anyone else know that there's a fake Captain America going around acting as him the whole time. He was just dressed as Black Panther.
I didn't even take it that was the fake Captain America. I thought he just kept changing costumes because they've never been seen in the same room at the same time.
Yeah, I thought too that they. Because he would have said something if he saw a Machine Captain America, I think.
You would think.
Actually, I don't know. It's like this could be anything. Like the story has so little like stability that I'm like, whatever, it makes sense, I guess.
So then we get one of our age-old questions that we've had this whole time finally answered. Where did Valkyrie get her powers from? It cuts to her like mind hell, and a mysterious figure shows up and smashes down the door and says, "I did not give you power so that you could die this day. We made a bargain and you intend to keep it. Go slay your enemies." And that's it.
Loki?
I don't know. And then she wakes up and says, "Men, dead men," cuts off his head, and then cuts off Pyro's hands. And like, I was here for her waking up and then just killing everybody pretty brutally.
Yeah.
And she's like, "This is where he adds in the line, oh, I was one of the X-Men. You can't kill me. I'm a good guy." And she cuts off his hands.
Yeah. And she goes, "Now, where'd I leave my horse?" And just
Then you have Ultimates Thor throwing his hammer at.
so this robot Thor is more effective against the Magnet Man than
and then
human
they're like,
Thor.
how isn't he? How can he?
Well, because
affect
they're not
them?
made of. He says they're not made of metal.
Metallic alloy. I'm like, what are they made of?
Yeah.
If
It
they're
could be
not-
like carbon nanotubes or something. I don't know.
they look like robots.
They don't say.
It looks like metal.
They're
so-
shiny like robots.
Yeah, their skin is peeling off.
yeah.
I believe, based on my Earth Science reference tables, if they exhibit luster, they're probably metallic.
Yeah, they do look metallic, but
Yeah, and then Thor shows up and starts fighting, fake Thor. Wasp calls the leader Yellow Jerk instead of Yellow Jacket, and then all of our heroes show up again.
Yeah,
We
you get
have-
a two-panel page of all of them fighting all the fake robot ultimates. Well, Magneto looks overhead. I'm like, what? Aren't you guys supposed to be fighting Magneto? Like, what's
Yeah, what the
happening?
fuck? But more importantly, the best line in the entire book.
Yellow Jacket / Ultron is fighting with the Wasp, and he says, "Don't you know how close we were to being you? I'd rather not kill you, Jan."
My experimentation on your DNA has only begun. Besides, you're almost like a mother to me. Then Ant-Man shows up behind Yellow Jacket, grabbing his neck, saying, I guess that makes me the motherfucker. I ripped it off.
I forgot about that. And it goes
Pretty good
skeet.
edgelord. Yeah. And so
and then
with Yellow Jacket
he
dead,
got oh my
He gets skeeted.
with Yellow Jacket dead, you get the classic: the hive mind dies, all the robots turn off and stuff. And then Magneto, what the hell is he doing? You get this story of like Wasp talking to Magneto. Well, in between, at the side, there's just a panel of a Hawkeye shooting Sabretooth in the chest, saying, "You should have left me for dead." Which
maybe I am
everyone did,
dead and I'm
right?
just a ghost going through the motions. You know, one of those ghosts that not gonna rest until the job's done. I guess the job is cutting up Sabretooth.
Yeah.
But I like this because like he's just saying this in the background. Everyone's just trying to talk to Magneto, saying, "Yeah, Hawkeye, shut up." We're talking to Magneto. This is bored. And meanwhile, then Hawkeye's like, "No, you shut up." And he takes out his gun and tries to shoot Magneto.
Oh, he goes to shoot Magneto, but then Quicksilver runs in the way and he takes the bullet for him. And he's like, "Father, forgive me." I'm like, you don't need to forgive him for that.
This part is so ridiculous to me because I'm like, he wasn't able to save Wanda because of the DNA-seeking bullet. This is a crossbow bolt. If you're not fast enough to stop that,
Touch it, grab
like
it.
you're not much of a speedster if you can't move your dad out of the way.
Maybe he
Yeah,
just
what the
wanted
fuck?
Maybe he just
Why is he not moving out of the way?
No, it's airtight. Maybe he just wanted to die.
Maybe it's a DNA-seeking crossbow bolt.
And because he's his son, they have enough DNA in common.
Yeah. So Magneto screams no so loud it like shakes off his fortress and flies into the sky. And
And Hawkeye says, "A job. Can I go die now?"
yep.
One thing that's nice is Magneto grabs Thor's hammer because Thor chases after him. And
Well,
he falls
Thor,
and
no. There's a panel of Thor looking like he's gonna throw his hammer. We don't ever get to see him throw the hammer. It's just it's suddenly in Magneto's hand. Magneto says, "Go away." A great thing to say after your son's dead.
And then Valkyrie catches him, and they make out.
Yep.
A nice touch.
And then it just shows Magneto with his son. He's like, I know we had our differences, terrible differences. His son's dead now. But in the end, I hope you know that I loved you and your sister equally. I know you can't hear me, but if you could, tell me where you took Wanda's body. I just want to bury my daughter. I'm like, what? Like, he hid the body from his dad, and that was a plot point that, like it's just...
Well, no, earlier, Magneto was like, take the body now and go with it during the fight.
Okay,
And so
but then...
I guess he ran with it during the fight. They didn't have time to be like, hey, by the way, I buried it here.
It's such a weird thing to bring up where he's like, please, I want to bury her.
No, it's airtight, okay? And that was DNA-seeking crossbow bolt, and the machines, I looked up, carbon nanotubing, completely non-metal. That's definitely what it is.
That I don't make sense. So it's later that night. Quicksilver has presumably been dead for like a while, and
Oh, yeah.
Magneto says this like,
Oh my
"I
God,
loved
it
you
is.
equally," and then Quicksilver starts to cry.
And he he whispers to his ear, "Tell me where you took Wanda's body." As like Quicksilver's faking his death. I know you're faking it. Tell me where Wanda's body is.
Maybe he is faking it. I haven't read Ultimatum. I don't know. I don't know the whole story.
I assumed it was like it was one of these stupid, like his soul like lingers after death and can cry like a little.
I don't know.
That's how I took it too, but who knows?
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I just love that he took her body from him. Just what a dumb plot point. And then all the Ultimates are just yelling at each other.
And they laugh at Clint. They like, Hawkeye, you wanted to get out of this by dying? Ha, you're gonna survive.
And then Wasp is like, I still lead this team, Cap. It's like, you messed up with your Panther Panther charade.
Wants to kick Hank off the team because he's under house arrest still.
Yeah, he violated his fucking parole or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
So and then Wasp, because I don't know how she ended up leading the team, but she's like, "Get off, Cap, you're fired now." And then Wolverine goes, "I need a beer." As the
When did that
joke
fucking
started.
happen? Does anyone remember Ultimates 2? I don't remember.
Fuck.
It doesn't matter.
But anyway, this is at least it
Daryl,
ends on a
I
high-
need you. I
It
need
ends
you
on a
to
high
round
note.
this out.
There's
Wait, what time? When is this?
3 days later, location undisclosed. Project Ultimatum record and playback simul tells them the story, but then it gets crushed. The head of Yellow Jacket, and you hear puppets. Did that fool Pym honestly believe that he brought life into this collection of tin cans? His childlike understanding of robotics is laughable. Every moment, beginning with the murder of the witch, has been orchestrated, programmed, and performed. It was, is, and will always be Doom who pulls the strings. It's Dr. Doom, and I'm like, yes, 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 yes.
I could be misremembering, but I don't remember Dr. Doom being a huge threat in Ultimatum.
Oh, what a great twist, though. I appreciate it. It's nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense. It's one of those dumb things where it's like, I planned this 10 years in advance for this to happen. It's like, you can't plan out this android falling in love with a witch. Like, what are you talking about?
So
The best thing about Doom and Ultimatum is in the beginning, Reed's convinced Doom's behind everything. So no matter what happens, like Neil's like on TV saying, "I'm going to kill all of you," and Reed is like, "Doom, how are you behind this, you bastard?" And Doom's like, "I'm literally not because of this." Namor starts drowning Manhattan, and he's like, "Doom, I know you're behind this. Goddamn you, Doom!"
I would probably have that complex too if I was reading.
Yeah,
I
if,
was too
if that was like your nemesis was this guy who thought everything through and planned things years in advance, you'd be like, I know it's you. Like Sherlock and Moriarty or something.
Cool. What a fucking book.
It was bad.
Very good.
How you guys feel like now that you don't like Ultimates 1 2? Do you like it better?
They're all shitty, but this is by far the shittiest.
yes, I think this is worse than Ultimatum.
I
Personally.
had more fun reading this one. This was just like, it was such a roller coaster of nonsense. It kept me engaged because I'm like, where is this gonna go? These are like plot twists coming out at the last second.
It also truly helps that it's 5 issues, because
Yes.
every page I'm just like, yeah, what's
I don't
going
know.
on?
I might read more.
it is so bad it's good. Unfortunate thing is, I don't remember Ultimatum being quite as wacky as this one.
Ultimatum is just its own other.
Yeah, the
kind
thing
of
is, it needs the wackiness. It needs Wolverine showing up and nonsensical Savage Land stuff.
Ultimatum really is every single Marvel character getting chumped, like dying like fucking chumps. All of
Well,
them.
I assume we'll do that in March, right? For the
Yeah, for
anniversary.
for final annual that's revolved on Ultimates.
I think like Millar's stuff had more interesting places it was going. It's just like the Edgelord stuff muddies the waters too much for me to be like, wow, this is really fascinating. I'm like, they're just shitheads at the end of the day. And here it's like Hawkeye's the only really super noticeable shitheads. Everyone else is just kind of like making Marvel quips all the time.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, okay, they're shitty. They're shitty people, but they're more human.
All Tony is a fucking drunkard. Like, there's no nuance to it whatsoever.
he had like no
There's
character
nuance.
really at all in this.
Yeah, like none of them had any character. So Thor's just I fuck Valkyrie. Valkyrie's like I love Thor.
In the first two, like, you can argue that they're shittier people, but like humans are like flawed.
Yeah, they're more complex people. Like Thor's problems in Ultimates 2 was kind of interesting. Of like, is this fake or real?
Tony's first line in Ultimatum, I believe, is I wonder if I can get a swimming pool full of booze. Like that's all Loeb writes about him. Like I love booze, scotchy, right into my belly. That's all. That's all. Loeb writes
that actually wasn't Tony. That could have been a robot. We don't know whether it was replaced.
But like
Yeah.
every character's one dimensional. There's no character of any nuance in the story whatsoever.
Yeah, like I
Like,
wasn't
when
invested.
you say it's. When you say it's comics, I assume at all times anyone could be a robot or a clone. So I'm like, that's just a given. Like,
or a robot clone like Thor in Civil War,
Oh my god.
or an alien shapeshifter, or you from another dimension, or you from the past.
Or Doom.
okay.
Even though you have to wait until March to hear us talk about Ultimatum, in the meantime, you should listen to the other shows on the Flying Machine Network. Like, there's a new episode of the Flying Machine content channel that Helen made all about slam poetry in Atlanta, and she has a lot of her favorite, like, local slam poets come on and read a lot of pieces, and slam poetry is one of those things, I don't know if you guys came with me, but I went to one thing in college, and I was like, this is so great, and then never did it again. So this was, like, a really cool insight into something that I think is awesome that I just like never followed up on. So I highly recommend that. And all the Flying Machine content channel episodes are short and super well produced and very, very good. So you should listen to that on flyingmachine.network.
And in 2
And
weeks from now, we're going to begin our Bleach Odyssey, where I've read
Jesus
the
fuck.
entirety of the Bleach manga, and I will be taking through them the highs and the lows of it.
Do we know how many parts that's going to be yet, Darryl?
I want to do 4, but it's one of those things where I'll see how the first one goes, and if you guys are enjoying it, because there's some characters, if we're going to do 4, I have to introduce in the second part, like Kenpachi. But if not, I'm going to skip Kenpachi, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
I don't know.
I look at Ryan's side like, oh, Impachi, my favorite character.
Yeah, sorry. I don't want to skip Kenpachi. I already have to skip Chen Ryu, which is the most heartbreaking thing, but I'll give them their just desserts.
Yeah, I don't know what any of this
Yeah,
is.
Bleach
You
is actually
will.
like I've seen a lot of Naruto. I saw some One Piece. Bleach. I've seen 0 of the anime. I've read 0 of the manga.
Bleach is about. All I know is the fucking name. That's all I know.
Yeah.
All I know is it's what I use to clean my toilet, and it sounds right in line with that, too.
That's why I'm excited to go into it. What were you saying, Phil?
Just that I have like out of the big popular shonen, I know the least about this one, so I'm interested.
Yeah, it's funny.
You would like Kenpachi.
Then we got to do it.
I'm sure I'd like a lot of things in this.
It's funny because like that was such a big thing, and like all three of us somehow dodged it completely.
Well, for me, I was
I
like,
dodged it too.
you can't like for me, I was like, the big shonen were so long and big that you got to like pick one and then just kind of like say fuck the rest of them. So like I was into Naruto when I was younger, so I was like, I can't get into Bleach too.
I mean, some people ended up doing like One Piece and Naruto. And,
Oh, they were at the same time. Naruto and Bleach.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ish. Yeah.
and One Piece.
Yeah, all the same time.
Yeah,
so they were like
those were known as the big 3 for a while. We'll get into it during the Bleach episode. Listen to
God,
those.
these episodes are going to be hell on earth, aren't they?
finally you'll see what it's like, okay?
Yeah.
For you.
I get to see what it's like. Okay, well, in the meantime, thank you for listening to Divisive Issues. I've been fucking my brother while Wolverine watches.
Who might be your dad? I don't know if that's what I was alluding to.
I've been making Magneto immortal with my semen.
Fuck, how do I follow these up? I've been disguising myself as Darryl for no reason. I'll tell you about it later.
And I have been planning to be on this podcast since its inception, before Doom rules everything, or whatever his line was. Stay in continuity.